The earth rumbled, a low growl deep within its belly. Ignoring the warnings, life continued. Children played, unaware of the impending doom. Then it began. The mountain awoke with fury. A deafening roar split the air. Ash, black as night, spewed into the sky. The sun vanished. Day turned to night. Panic surged like a tidal wave, a desperate scramble for safety. But there was nowhere to hide from nature's wrath. The air grew thick with ash, making it hard to breathe. Buildings shook, their foundations no match for the earth's tremors. Fear etched itself onto every face. A rain of ash began to fall, blanketing everything in a thick, gray layer. The air stung with the smell of sulfur. The once familiar world was gone, swallowed by the volcano's rage. Silence. The kind of silence that feels almost tangible, pressing down on everything, making the absence of sound even more profound. An eerie silence descended, heavy and absolute. It was as if the world itself had paused, holding its breath in the wake of the catastrophe. The ash settled, a ghostly shroud over the land. Every surface, every structure, every tree was now part of this monochrome world. Gone were the sounds of laughter, of birdsong. The playgrounds that once echoed with children's joy were now silent. The trees that once rustled with life stood still. Only a deafening silence remained. It was a silence that spoke volumes, a silence that told the story of a world turned upside down. The world was cloaked in gray ash on roofs, ash on trees, ash on the faces of the stunned survivors. It was a scene from a nightmare, yet it was all too real. The scale of the devastation was slowly revealed. As the ash settled, the true extent of the damage became apparent, and it was overwhelming. Homes, once filled with life, were now buried. The places where families gathered, where memories were made, were now unrecognizable. Fields of crops, once a vibrant green, were now barren gray wastelands. The lifeblood of the village, its agriculture, was now a distant memory. The air was heavy with the smell of sulfur and the ghosts of what was. It was a reminder of the violent force that had reshaped their world. People emerged from shelters, their faces grim, covered in ash. They were the survivors, the ones who had lived through the chaos and now faced the aftermath. They looked around at their world, transformed into an alien landscape. It was a place they once knew, now rendered foreign and hostile. The enormity of the disaster began to sink in. The weight of what had happened, the loss, the destruction, it was almost too much to bear, yet, amidst the devastation, a flicker of resilience began to glow. It was faint, but it was there, a spark of hope in the midst of despair. The will to survive, to rebuild, started to stir in the hearts of the people. They knew the road ahead would be long and hard, but they were ready to face it together. Maria huddled with her 2 young children in the makeshift shelter. The eruption had trapped them in their village. Days turned into weeks, each one a struggle for survival. Food and water were scarce. Fear for her children's well-being gnawed at her. But Maria was a survivor. Her spirit, forged in the fires of adversity, refused to be broken. She knew she had to be strong for her children. She would find a way out of this, a way to rebuild their lives. With fierce determination, she ventured out each day, searching for supplies, for news, for hope. She taught her children to play games with pebbles, to find joy in the smallest of things. Her courage, her unwavering love for her children, became a beacon of hope for others. Old Pedro, his face weathered like the land he tilled, surveyed his fields. Each wrinkle on his face told a story of seasons past, of bountiful harvests and harsh droughts. His eyes, though tired, still held a spark of determination, a testament to the countless challenges he had faced and overcome. Once fertile and green, they were now buried under a thick layer of ash. The eruption had transformed the landscape overnight, turning lush fields into a desolate gray expanse. The air was heavy with the scent of sulfur, and the sky, once clear and blue, was now a perpetual haze. His heart ached with the loss. The land that had once been a source of pride and sustenance now seemed like a cruel reminder of nature's unpredictability. He felt a deep sorrow, not just for himself but for the generations before him who had poured their sweat and soul into this soil. For generations, his family had farmed this land, their lives inexorably linked to its rhythms. The stories of his ancestors were etched into every furrow, every stone. They had faced their own trials, from floods to pestilence, and had always found a way to persevere. This legacy of resilience was now Pedro's to uphold, but Pedro was a farmer, and farmers were a resilient breed. They were the stewards of the earth, understanding its cycles and respecting its power. They knew that every setback was just another chapter in the ongoing story of the land. Pedro's spirit was unbroken, his resolve as firm as the calluses on his hands. They understood the capricious nature of the earth, its capacity to nurture and to destroy. The same soil that could yield a bountiful harvest could also lie fallow and barren. This duality was a constant reminder of the delicate balance between man and nature, a balance that Pedro was determined to restore. He knew that beneath the ash the land was still alive. The nutrients from the volcanic ash could, in time, enrich the soil, making it even more fertile than before. This knowledge gave Pedro hope, a glimmer of light in the midst of darkness. He believed in the land's ability to heal and renew itself. With calloused hands he began to clear the ash, his movement slow but determined. Each sweep of his hand was an act of faith, a belief in the future. The work was grueling, but Pedro's spirit was indefatigable. He knew that every bit of ash he removed was a step towards reclaiming his land. He planted new seeds, specially chosen for their ability to thrive in the ash-enriched soil. These seeds were a symbol of hope and renewal, a promise that life would return to the land. Pedro tended to them with care, knowing that they held the potential to transform the barren fields into a lush green paradise once more. Pedro's efforts were a testament to the indomitable spirit of adaptation, a testament to the belief that even in the face of devastation, life, like nature, finds a way. His journey was not just about survival, but about thriving against all odds. It was a story of hope, resilience, and the unwavering human spirit. Section 5. Nature's Reclaim, a landscape transformed. The volcano, now quiet, loomed over the landscape. Its slopes, once covered in lush vegetation, were now bare, scarred by lava flows. The rivers, once teeming with life, ran sluggish and gray with ash. The eruption had reshaped the land, leaving its indelible mark on everything. Yet, even in this scene of destruction, nature's resilience was evident. Green shoots, tenacious and bold, began to pierce through the ash layer. Birds, their songs tentative at first, returned, their melodies a hopeful counterpoint to the silence. The earth, wounded but not defeated, began its slow process of healing, of reclaiming its own. Section 6. United by Disaster, the Bonds of Community. In the aftermath of the eruption, a remarkable spirit of community emerged. People, their lives shattered by the disaster, came together to support each other. Neighbors helped neighbors, sharing what little food and water they had. The village square, once a place for celebrations, became a hub for aid distribution, a place to seek news and solace. Stories of selfless acts of kindness and courage abounded. Young men, their faces grimy with ash, formed teams to clear roads and rebuild houses. Women, their hands calloused but steady, cooked communal meals, ensuring that no one went hungry. The shared experience of loss and the collective effort to rebuild forged a bond that transcended social barriers. Section 7. The Long Road Back, Challenges to Recovery. The road to recovery was long and arduous. The eruption had dealt a severe blow to the region's infrastructure. Roads and bridges were destroyed, hampering aid efforts. The economy, dependent on agriculture and tourism, was devastated. The psychological scars of the disaster ran deep. Many struggled to come to terms with the trauma of what they had witnessed, haunted by the memories of the eruption. The challenges were immense, but so too was the spirit of the people. With unwavering determination, they began the task of rebuilding their lives brick by brick, hope by hope. Section 8. Scars and Healing, the Emotional Impact. The eruption left its mark not just on the land but also on the souls of its people. The trauma manifested in many ways. Children, their innocence shattered, were haunted by nightmares of that fateful day. Adults, burdened by loss and uncertainty, struggled with anxiety and despair. The emotional toll of the disaster was as real as the physical devastation. Yet even in the depths of despair, the human spirit found ways to heal. Stories of resilience and hope began to emerge. The power of community, the solace of shared experiences, and the unwavering belief in a better tomorrow became sources of strength. Section 9. Seeds of Hope, a Future from the Ashes. Years after the eruption, the landscape bore the scars of the disaster. The once vibrant fields were now a desolate expanse covered in a thick layer of ash. Trees that once stood tall and proud were reduced to charred remnants, a stark reminder of nature's fury. The air, once filled with the songs of birds, was now eerily silent, as if mourning the loss of life and beauty. Yet, amidst the ruins, life bloomed anew. Tiny shoots of green began to emerge from the gray, lifeless ground. Flowers, delicate yet resilient, pushed through the ash, adding splashes of color to the monochrome landscape. It was as if nature itself was determined to reclaim its lost glory, to prove that life, no matter how fragile, always finds a way. The ash, once a symbol of destruction, had enriched the soil. What was once seen as a curse had become a blessing in disguise. The nutrients from the volcanic ash revitalized the earth, making it more fertile than ever before. Farmers who had lost hope began to see the potential for new growth and prosperity. Fields, once barren, were now green with crops. The hard work and perseverance of the farmers paid off as they transformed the desolate land into a thriving agricultural hub. Rows of crops swayed gently in the breeze, a testament to the resilience of both the land and the people who worked it. The community, once devastated, now had a renewed sense of purpose and hope. New houses, built with the resilience of the people, dotted the landscape. These homes were not just structures of brick and mortar, but symbols of human determination and the will to rebuild. Each house told a story of survival, of families coming together to create a new beginning. The community, united by their shared experience, grew stronger and more connected. Children, their laughter echoing through the air, played in the shadow of the volcano, a reminder of nature's power and the enduring spirit of humanity. Their joy and innocence were a stark contrast to the devastation that once was. They represented the future, a future that held promise and potential. The sight of children playing freely was a testament to the community's resilience and the hope that life would continue to flourish. The eruption had been a tragedy, a stark reminder of the fragility of life. The destruction it caused was immense, leaving behind a trail of sorrow and loss. But amidst the ruins, there was a glimmer of hope. The community's spirit remained unbroken, and their determination to rebuild was unwavering. But it had also been a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the power of hope, and the unwavering belief in the possibility of renewal. People came together, united by a common goal, to restore what was lost. Their collective efforts turned despair into hope, and destruction into a new beginning. The community's journey from devastation to renewal was a powerful reminder of the strength and resilience inherent in humanity. From the ashes of destruction, a new chapter had begun, a testament to the enduring spirit of life itself. The sunrise over the rejuvenated landscape symbolized a new dawn, a fresh start. Nature, in all its glory, had reclaimed its place, and the community, stronger than ever, looked forward to a future filled with hope and promise. This was not just a story of survival, but a celebration of life, resilience, and the unyielding power of hope.